It's like old people having sex. It's clunky, it's chunky, it's funky, but it's fun. They know what they're doing, it's fun. And this thing does it. Hello, Fuzzy here. We're at beautiful Littlefield Lake near my home here in Iowa. This is La Sombra, my 1100 Shadow. She's just turned over, well, she's just under 40,000 miles right there, 39,907. So I thought I'd tell you what it's like to own a motorcycle like this. What are some of the things I've had to do to her, changes I've made to her, what are the pros and cons of a bike like this, and at 40,000 miles, how do I feel about her? Anyway, April 26th, 2021, let's go for a ride. Yahoo! We are a few miles down the road now at beautiful Lake Anita State Park. Big old lake down there. So La Sombra is 1100 Shadow. Mine is a 2006, but they made them from the 80s up to now. I think the 1100s they quit making a few years back, but they've been making them forever. The wheelbase is about 65 inches from center to center. It's a single disc brake on the front, drum brake on the back. The drum brake is excellent. We'll talk about the front brake later. The engine is a 45 degree, I believe. It's got automatic valve adjustments. You never have to adjust the valves. 67 horsepower, 67 cubic inches, 67 foot-pounds of torque. The bike came with a backrest and this little trunk thing here. Suspension, I've got it on the twin shock. I've got it on the second to the lowest setting, so it's a nice comfortable ride. The great thing is it's shaft drive, and I just love that. It's absolutely no maintenance. Once a year I change all the fluid in here, sometimes twice a year because it's so easy to do and so cheap. Forward controls. La Sombra has decent power. She's a great thing to ride. Liquid cooled, by the way. Comfort and handling. Okay, in the parking lot she's a little heavy to push around. You know, you got to get, once you get her rolling, she's easy to manage. You know, when you start up, she's heavy. She is heavy. She does feel heavy. And around town, she's heavy. Sluggish, I would say, not heavy. But I've driven motorcycles that make this feel light, but I think it's heavier than it needs to be. Where she shines is the highway, the two-lane blacktop. You know, that magical American two-lane blacktop. And on that, she just, you can't beat her. She just goes forever and just rolls down the road with great ease. Isn't that a gorgeous view? You get her on the interstate, she does fine up to about 80. 75, she's, you know, no problems. 80, that's about where her legs end. She'll top out at 100. She won't go over 100. The speedometer will indicate 110 or 11, I think is what I've had it to, but my GPS thing flats out at 100. And what I've read is that they're speed limited at that. And that's only been a problem for me twice, and I've talked about this before. I was in Minneapolis, and you drive through Minneapolis is 40 miles on 35, and the traffic was, on that particular day, I've been through Minneapolis several times, but only on this one day, everything was going 100 miles an hour, 90 to 100, and I was, you know, on a motorcycle, maneuverability and speed are your two things, and I was at the end of my speed, so it was, you know, I wish I had more that day, but otherwise, no big deal. How is she with, you know, riding with passengers? I've had passengers everywhere from, I suppose, 100 pounds to 200 pounds, and I've never had any trouble with them. It's, as far as power goes, you really almost can't tell that there's somebody on the back. And I've never adjusted my shocks for a passenger, and I've never bottomed out with it. So I think that works pretty well too. The, as far as handling goes, you know, the driver sits right here, so your center of mass is just right through here. You get a passenger in the back. I actually felt like she had a slightly softer, well, of course she had a softer ride with the passenger in the back, but as far as handling down the road, you know, the blacktops are in town, I really didn't notice any difference. Just a great bike for that. We're just 20 miles more than we were last time, so our next stop will probably have the 40,000, the magical 40,000 that we're looking for, and then I'll give you a little more info. We'll talk about some of our other things, maintenance and things like that at the next stop. She's a very dirty bike right now. I ride a lot, so I don't clean her very often as much as I should, but you know, me bad. All right, let's keep on it rolling. Look at that view. Yahoo! Miles down the road again. Welcome to Lake Icaria, Adams County. I want to get down by the water, but it was just way too windy. Very windy day today. That's something about La Sombra I got to throw in, is if you go into the wind, she's got so much torque, it doesn't really bother her unless it's really gusty. Here, clicking down there. But it's a gorgeous day, just about 80, 75 degrees, I suppose. This jacket's almost too much, but very windy, but you know, no big deal. Anyway, let's talk about maintenance on a bike like this. The valves never need adjusting. It's got automatic valve adjustment. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they're lifters or what they are. I don't think it is, but anyway, the cam chain tensioning is automatic on it as well. You don't have to, so you don't have to worry about that. It's got 3 valves per cylinder, downdraft carburetors. You have to change a fuel filter. I did have to change a fuel pump on this bike when I bought it. I got it very cheap, and one of the reasons for that was because it needed a fuel pump, and I was able to do that myself. Also, like I said, a fuel filter at the time. I think I put a new battery in it too. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, other things about maintenance. The bike has, like I said, we're talking about 40,000 miles, right? I got it with 12,000, but I've never had to change the brake pads on either the front or the back. Even though I have all those miles, I check them every time, often, and no problems yet. So, you know, that's a good thing, I guess. Oil is every 8,000 miles, and so are the spark plugs. I like that because, you know, really that's all I have to do for maintenance is change the oil and the plugs. I've had some guys talk about putting iridium plugs in their Honda Shadows, and I think that's a great idea. And I'll probably do it eventually, but I also like being able to pull the plugs out. This 2-cylinder motorcycle has 4 plugs, 2 cylinders, 2 plugs per cylinder. And anyway, I like being able to pull them out and look at them because they always look so good. They always look perfect. They're all, you know, when you look in the book, they're like, this is what they should look like, and that's what you got in your hand when you pull the plugs out on this bike anyway. So very satisfying in that way. The rear end oil, it's, you know, it's shaft drive, so that's an easy thing. Just drop, you know, pull one plug out, it all drains out. Do what you got to do to put the right stuff back in, no big deal. I changed the coolant in it this year. And that too was very simple. I put it up on the lift, one bolt out, took the tank off so I could get to the access. The coolant access is behind this cover right here, and very easy to do. So maintenance on this bike is a hoot, or, you know, simple. As far as tires go, when I got the bike, she had Dunlop 404s on there, and the Dunlop 404 is a very nice tire. And I was getting, I think I ran three sets on here, and I was getting about, well, man, it couldn't have been 3, but I guess 2 of them. The set that came with it, 1 set after that, and I think I was getting about 9,000 miles out of each set, so out of each back tire. And I've got on there now our Michelin Commander 3s. It's a hard tire. I don't think they have as much feel as the Dunlop. It's just it's very close, but not as much. The at this time I've got about 14,000 miles on the back tire, which is still pretty good shape. And the front tire I think is about 8,000 miles less, so maybe about 6,000 miles on her. Not too bad at all. She feels good. I don't need a rubbery tire for this kind of thing. Most of my mileage is cruising. Most of what I do on this bike is cruising, so you know, as far as that goes, terrific. Other things, I've had to change the taillights. Not really much else. So what have I done to this bike? Well, I have not put new exhaust on it. I don't like loud exhaust. I have a Harley. If I want to make a lot of noise, it's a Sportster, I'll get that out, and that thing makes all kinds of noise. These have gotten louder over time, and you can't buy them. I guess you can get used ones off eBay or something like that, but so when they do finally go, I don't know what I'll do. Hopefully they'll last the life of the bike. I doubt it, but you never know. I put these wonderful things on here, these little foot pegs. and they're great. I can hang my foot off the front, I can do full, I can hang them off the back, I can do this, and it just gives me a plethora of options as far as riding goes. I did get this bag. The sides open on this. There's a panel on top. I can put stuff underneath here also, you know, like a jacket or something. It is latched down to the, you know, these Velcro straps, and then I've got these straps that go across the bottom here, and then it's got this Velcro patch that goes around the sissy bar, and that thing has just been great. It's a little bigger than I thought it was. In the picture it made it look like it was going to be 11 by 11, but they must have meant, I don't know what they meant, but I'm very happy with it, and it's relatively waterproof. I mean, it hasn't been bad. The bike came with this shield. When I got it, I've never had a bike with a shield, so when I got it I thought, oh crap. I ran it like that for a while, took it off, and I put it right back on because I loved it so much. Other things that I've done, I put these little mirror things on the front, you know, to bring the mirrors in more, and I've actually got some ones at home that I haven't put on yet that are gonna, it'll bring this over like this, and then I'll put these on, so that mirror, when I'm driving down the road, I cannot see my shoulders even with those on. Those little adapters have made a lot of difference in the mirror's usability, but I think they could come in even farther, make the bike just a lot better. Other things, the bike came with this little wrist rest, and you know, I never had one of those before, and I loved it. I put this on. This is great for, you're going down the road, your hand gets a cramp, you got to do something, pull something out of your pocket. I'll latch that on, and it'll hold the bike at speed. It's you know, you speed up going downhill and you lose speed going uphill, but it's better than nothing. Well, let's see, what else can I tell you about? I put these bags on, all my light stuff. I finally did put one of these on. I don't like having a phone up here, but I put my phone so it doesn't, every time I get a notification, it doesn't light up, and that's great. I do have a set of saddlebags that I use. I'll take that back. I have a set of saddlebags that I have not used yet. They do fit. They're going to be great for the longer trips. I've got a lot of trips planned into, I want to go into Wyoming, Colorado, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and if I'm really lucky, I want to get all the way up in the UP, Upper Peninsula of Michigan, this year. If I get half of that done, I'll be thrilled. I also got a tank bag, and that I actually use quite a bit. I didn't use it today, but when I go on these long 300-400 mile rides, 500-mile rides, I like to bring my DSLR, and that tank bag, the DSLR fits in there just perfect. I get something I want to take a picture, just whip it out, take the picture, and there I am. And I also, it's got a little bunch of pockets for little things that I can use for. Anyway, very happy with the whole setup. Gorgeous bike. What I'm saying is, I love this motorcycle. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Okay, we're gonna keep on rolling. Let's see what other body of water we can find elsewhere in Iowa, huh? Let's roll. Yahoo! Yahoo! Drum roll! There she goes! Ta-da! Hello, we're nearing the end of the ride. There's old La Sombra. We are at Cold Springs. This is in Cass County, Iowa. I've been here several times lately. It's a beautiful little park. Camping on yonder. Down there's the lake. Little tiny lake. I think it's a no-wake lake. You can almost throw a stone across it. It's so small. Old La Sombra's got some miles on her. How do I feel about her as a motorcycle? Well, when I got her, I didn't want her. I wanted a Yamaha V-Star, and I found a couple of them and the deals fell through. I looked at a Harley, that didn't work out. A 750 Harley, which sometimes I regret not buying that, but I got this and I'm incredibly happy with this. So I guess I could say, you know, I feel very good about buying this motorcycle and having it. How's she been to live with? She's been an absolute ball to live with. I have had very little issues with her. Like I said, when I got her, the fuel pump took care of that. After that, it's just been maintenance, and the maintenance intervals are long and they're easy. You know, things are easy to get to, the plugs are easy to access, the, you know, oil change is easy, fluid change was easy. You know, nothing of it, even the air cleaner, which is under the seat, is just a couple bolts. You know, take this thing off and then take this off, and the air cleaner's right right down there. I think it's got 4 bolts for the air cleaner and a couple bolts for the seat. So not an issue at all. She's just been, I've had a lot of motorcycles over the years, a lot of motorcycles, and this is, as far as power goes, this one is probably 4th from the bottom, so there's several above her. As far as livability goes, this is the easiest motorcycle I've ever had to live with. Everything, she just does everything well. She's a Toyota Camry of motorcycles. Does everything well, always starts, handles well, does everything you could possibly want, you know, relatively well. Does nothing great, everything relatively well. Pros and cons. You know, the pros, of course, reliable, dependable, does everything well, yada, yada, yada. She's not super powerful, but she's got enough power. She's predictable, easy to own. Maintenance is very easy. Very comfortable, you know, easy to take on long. I go in a lot of 300, 400, 500, 600 mile rides, and I think I did 675 last year, was one day, and you know, she does that very well. It's just the only drawback there, well, we'll get to that in cons. She's affordable. You know, I have low cost of entry. I think I paid $2,000 for. Low cost to maintain. It's relatively decent mileage. I get 45 to 50 depending on what I ride. You know, if I ride 55, 60, I'll get 50 miles a gallon. If I do anything more than that, I'll get in the 40s. And if I get over 80, I'll get 40, 41. You know, that's just how it is. So those are the pros. The cons, well, this is going to be kind of interesting. First off, the most obvious con to me is the stupid blinkers. Honda has under-designed that blinker switch. I've cleaned it out and it works a lot better than it did, but it just, when you go to a bike shop or you go to somebody else's motorcycle, I ride a lot of people's motorcycles, and their blinkers always work so well. Mine don't. And I don't know if that's a Honda thing, but it certainly is on this motorcycle. Fuel capacity, the tank is, I can't remember. I think it's supposed to be 4.2, but about 3.2 reserve kicks on. You know, I wish I had another gallon of gas, because like I said, I do a lot of long rides, and another gallon of gas would really make it easier for me. You know, one less stop every so often. The next thing I would complain about would be the brakes, and the back brake is great. It's a drum brake. There's the drum. But it seems to do everything well. I've never had any issues with it. It always does exactly what I want. The front brake, I've had to panic stop, and when you need that, it does it. It'll stop you just like that. But you got to put a lot of force on the grip. And I think part of it is the motorcycle, when I got it a couple years ago, had 12,000 miles on it, probably sat and sat and sat. And I'm guessing there's a little corrosion ring around those pistons right at the end, because when you go to engage it, you can kind of feel it. And when I take this apart to new pads on it, I'm going to address that. I'm going to emery cloth it out or do whatever I have to do to make that, you know, try to eliminate as much of that as I can. And I think that might solve the problem. It doesn't have cruise control. That's another thing I really miss. I've never had cruise control, but I've borrowed other people's motorcycles with cruise control, and for the kind of riding I do, I think that would just make my life. And I've talked to a friend about adding it, and I just don't know if I want to go to the trouble. I do have this little doodad that gets me by in a bind, you know. C'est la vie. Headlight, that is a real issue. I don't drive a lot at night, but when I do, it's an issue because I have it on low beam. It doesn't shine out enough. It doesn't give you enough visibility, but you get flashed by cars coming on because apparently they think it's on high. You put it on high and it's a very narrow cone of light. It doesn't go out to the sides at all. It goes forward very well, but it doesn't go out to the sides at all. I know, get running lights, all that neat stuff, and I've thought about that, and I might just do that. That might be another thing I add to it over time. Let's see what else. I got a little list here. That's about it. How do I feel about her as a motorcycle at 40,000 miles? Well, I love her. I don't want to ever get rid of her, and I don't know what I do when I replace her. As a matter of fact, they don't make new ones anymore. They make that 750, and I'd like to drive it. And I don't know if that has a chain or a shaft. I'd love to stay with a shaft. One thing about this motorcycle is the Oh, like I was saying, you know, I've owned several motorcycles, and this has been the most drivable of motorcycles. And like I said, it's not powerful, it's not great, but it's a lot of fun. And okay, get ready. It's like old people having sex. It's clunky, it's chunky, it's funky, but it's fun. They know what they're doing, it's fun. And this thing does it. So, you know, it's the one that gets the job done and does it pretty darn well. Everything pretty darn well. What do I see in her future? Well, I see a lot of miles. I'm gonna ride the heck out of it. My goal, you know, if I follow through with all I got 20,000 miles last year. If I follow through with all my plans for this year, I'll have 40 to 50,000. I don't think I'll get that. I'm lucky I'll get 30. But if I get another 20, that's good too. I think I've got about 4,500 or maybe 5,000 already this year. But absolutely love the bike. Life is good. Get a chance to get one or ride one, take a ride on one, see what you think. It's no Goldwing, but it's also a lot cheaper than a Goldwing. I've got a lot of people that say that they'll go 100,000 miles. I intend to find that out. As far as ownership goes, it's just been a beautiful thing, just a beautiful thing. And I know it's dirty, and I'm going to work at that. I've got some stuff coming in the mail, so I have a shop that I work on it at, and I've got my home, and I've got some stuff coming for the home, so I can clean it up a little bit before I take it out. Anyway, hey, y'all have a good time. Life is good. Enjoy it. Take care, y'all.